This is One on One. Hi, folks. Welcome back. I'm taping from our home in Montclair, New Jersey, and we are now pleased to be joined by our good friend. He's been with us many times. Never been more important than today is Carlos Rodriguez, President and CEO of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Steve.
Carlos, we actually just taped a month or so ago. We're taping on the 8th of April, talking about diabetes with the Raspberry Foundation, a totally different topic. Maybe it's not totally different because it's one of the factors, if you will, if someone gets this virus. The Community Food Bank in New Jersey, how significant is your work right now? And how significant will it be moving forward in helping so many people who are in need?
Well, during any disaster, those that are most vulnerable and have a hard time making ends meet is the first ones that we have to make sure continue to make ends meet or continue to have food on the table. And during this crisis, we've seen this at a proportion that's been unimaginable. And it's not just those directly affected by the COVID virus and trying to figure out how to give them food while they're sheltering in place, but it's also those that were impacted by the economic effects of the shutdown and of making sure that everyone can stay at home in place. And there's so many everything that we know, really the complexity of not being able to put food on the table or only having certain resources to do that really come to life and have come to life in a new way. Families that are living paycheck to paycheck didn't have the opportunity to go at the end of the month in February and go stockpile 2 weeks worth of groceries. So that was problem number one. And then problem number two is how do you, as soon as they lost income, get them food in this new environment? And so there's been a host of different operational environments, economic realities that we've had to quickly adapt to.
A couple things. First of all, we're putting up the website of the Community Food Bank in New Jersey. They need money. They need help all the time, but now more than ever. Carlos, say we, in fact, air this program in May and June. Someone says, oh, it's dated. You're taping close to the middle of April, but it's seen way after that. The need will not only exist, maybe even greater. Talk about it.
The need will be greater. Every disaster has shown us that, and this is just a simple economics. It's going to take a long time for economic recovery, and especially this is always the true is for the most vulnerable. So families that have already gone without paychecks or limited paychecks to pay their bills, it's going to take them a lot longer to get back into the swing of things, and that means that they're going to be sacrificing their ability to put healthy food on the table. And so now more than ever, we need to have the resources on hand to take care of the immediate problem, food for everyone right now. But also we have to start thinking about the tomorrow, the next day, the May and June, when the recovery will clearly hopefully it'll be a recovery by that point.
Yeah, but Carlos, this is what's so interesting. I mean, people look at the numbers. Everyone's focused on the numbers as we do this program, understandably. But the numbers are people. And the number of people unemployed, and I've said this before, I repeat it, our not-for-profit has laid off some people. We're just one of millions of organizations, for-profits, not-for-profits. As more and more people, and yes, it's great that unemployment benefits are longer and it may be more money, but here's the question. As more and more people lose their jobs, say this is being watched in the middle of the summer, and more people lose their jobs. What are the implications for the work of the Community Food Bank and the people you serve? Because it seems to be there'll be more people.
And we'll have to amplify our efforts and continue to grow our efforts and continue to have to source more food and put it strategically where that impact is being seen. It's people. We started April with over 300,000 more unemployed families than the month before in New Jersey alone. We immediately, in the first weeks of this, started seeing programs, our pantries, our soup kitchens started reporting 30% higher increase in the requests for food. Some programs as high as 50%. And so we saw it immediately. And so we know that first paycheck that was missed is going to extend the amount of recovery time, even when folks get back on their feet. Steve, let's put this in perspective. When
Sure.
we first spoke, the last time that we spoke, there was still a great economy and we were still feeding, well over 10% of the population. Now we have over 300,000 and hopefully temporarily unemployed folks. But those missing paychecks, those missing bills, they will come back and they are due.
It's interesting. You reminded me, we were in Patterson, correct?
Correct.
and we were at an organization there. Remind me of the name of it, Carlos?
We were at Father English Food Pantry in Patterson.
And the community food bank has a close connection with them. And it was early on, and things were relatively good. Their need will be greater. And by the way, is there a connection? Is there a diabetes connection, or am I wrong about that?
Well, there's a diabetes connection in terms of we're hearing that folks with people with underlying conditions, they can get hit the hardest. And I think diabetes is one of the illnesses that have been mentioned. So if you have any underlying illnesses, that's a connection. So, our work to make sure that folks with an underlying illness stay healthy, so that the next time there's an illness, whether it's the flu or a pandemic, they have a higher ability to stay strong and hopefully survive, is always important. It's always important. But now more than ever, we want to make sure that everyone stays healthy. And yes, social distancing is the norm of the day, but eating healthy as best as you can under these circumstances continues to be a reality every day.
Yeah, it's interesting. As I said, we're taping on the 8th of April. If social distancing is not the norm or the guidelines or the requirement of the government, the other issues that Carlos raised will not go away. Final question, Carlos. You are a nonprofit. We are a nonprofit. We've been putting the website up for the community food bank. Where do those dollars go if someone chooses to contribute?
Those dollars go straight to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, where every dollar, even before these times, helps support up to 3 meals. And right now, we've seen our increase for food and donations drop during the pandemic. So we'll need to recover those donations well after this pandemic. And so we'll be using and have been using dollars to purchase food to make up for the loss of donations, not just to deal with the immediate need that we saw during the crisis, but to deal with the long recovery ahead. And so food, distribution costs, extra warehouse helpers. And during the pandemic, we were not able to bring in volunteers as we were normally accustomed to. So we've had to figure out how to rework our operations and bring in some temp labor to help us do this important work.
Carlos Rodriguez, the head of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, president and CEO. Thank you for the work that you've done to date. Thank you for the work I know you and your colleagues will continue to do, and will continue to shed the light on this important issue and the needs of so many people in the work of your organization. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm Steve Adubato. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, the Russell Berry Foundation, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Investors Bank, the Northward Center, New Jersey Sharing Network, United Airlines, NJM Insurance Group, and by the Fidelco Group. Promotional support provided by ROINJ and by Meadowlands Chamber. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.